Thank you. So we're going to do a 1-minute transition. We want to welcome our brand partners on. I really want to challenge you. Like, I am ready. Who needs to move? Anybody need to move? I need to move all the time.
Are you going to play the music? Is that what we're doing?
I think we should we do, I mean, I've been you really on a roll today. Should we do the fancy like dance? Because I'm ready to do it on Instagram. I'm really practiced up. We mean fancy like Applebee's on a date night with a bourbon streak shake and an Oreo shake.
I don't know that one.
Cream on the top two. 2 straws, 1 check. Girl, I got you. Like, no? No?
I was just at a wedding this past weekend. I was the only person on the dance floor that did not know that one.
How do you not know fancy like?
I just did the wobble. Okay.
Okay. So for about 30 seconds, I'm going to do the first part. Okay, guys. So the first part of this, it's really simple. We're going to do step back with the arm pull. We're going to do fancy like, ready? We'll be on a date night with some bourbon street steak with an Oreo shake with some whipped cream. No, top 2 straws, 1 check. Girl, I got you. No, I mean, I'm a room mom for a 2nd grade class, and I did that on a video today. It was amazing. It was amazing. I'm pretty sure my kids, when they're older, it's actually, I uploaded it to YouTube, so it will live beyond my years. And I'm pretty sure when I die, they're going to play this video. I mean, it's that good, Rachel.
I'm sure it was.
No, it's terrible. But
we'll still have it because we're being recorded, right?
That is
so did you stop the recording from the last class?
No, but Tracy will cut it.
Oh, she slices it. Okay.
Yeah. So guys, what I'm really given a buffer of time because for me, I know when I am engaged in a class and I have my friends there and they're new, I need a hot minute to switch over to being the learner and being the person that's like engaged. So I just wanted to make sure we had that buffer. I didn't actually want to dance. Like that wasn't actually.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You always want to dance. Do you not even say that?
You want to be really talented.
I thought you were going to have us do jumping jacks. She normally has us do like sit-ups or something. So that's a little bit better.
I mean, can we have a moment? I don't even really love country anymore, but that song is catchy. And I may or may not have sent in a video where I talked about Natty Light and the truck bed squeaking all the way home. Like that was part of a song that I did for my 2nd grader. So I'm not sure, I don't know if the prayer I sent him was more offensive or this at public school. I'm not sure the borderline. So, I got a little bit of both. Got a little bit of might push it this way or this way. You never know what you're going to get. So those of you that don't know me, I'm so hello friends.
Nice.
So I'm not sure how Rachel and I got to be in charge of this call alone. I don't know who trusted us or who was excited for us or they're scared. I'm totally kidding. We're not troll. My point of saying that is I want you to get your people here. Like that is why I'm giving this buffer 1 more minute till 9:04 Eastern time. Because I want you to remind your people, like we're a community. We're here to have fun together. This business isn't always a party, but we can make it one. And we can, just like when you have hard times in your life and you can praise in the storm, just like when you have good times and you can jump for joy, guys, our business is a party if we make it. It's always a celebration if we celebrate the right things. It's always a time that we can make new friends and bond and work together. And even if this week you're like, I did all the things, let's celebrate me. Let's go for it. You're awesome. You are welcome here. If you're on here and you're like, I'm going to put my video off because I didn't go in the Abundance Challenge group this week. Like we see you either way. We are with you. And I can actually guarantee to the 1000th percentage of guaranteeing that Rachel or I at different times has probably felt you on either one of those pieces of that scale. And so we are going to have fun tonight. We're going to celebrate wins. We're going to strategize together. We're going to talk about strategies moving forward. And if we get to a place where you're not having fun and we're not feeling like we're adding value, we're going to end the call. So don't be scared. You're not committing to 60 minutes of like someone telling you what to do. We are in this together. We're going to share together. I'm going to let Rachel start us a little bit. I'm going to grab my charger real quick, friends. I just want to, again, be transparent. I feel like I don't want this to die while I'm recording. So I'm going to kick it to her for a minute and we're going to start our party.
Okay, guys. So let's just focus on some wins right now. Please feel free to unmute yourself or type in the chat box if you don't want to, but we would all actually like to hear your voice and see your face. I would love to hear wins. So that could be literally anything, guys. I'm learning in this season, like just for instance, my husband came home and he noticed something, like I've turned off the lights. I'm not real good at turning off lights. And he praised me for that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Like every win is a win, especially in your business. And sometimes you have to remind yourself of that. I think sometimes we think about all the other things we should and need to be doing. You have to stop and pause for what you've done and acknowledge that in yourself. And then let us acknowledge that too for you. So who wants to unmute, share a win? It could be legit anything that you feel like you did, whether it's jumping out of your comfort zone, something different you did. Tanya says I'm getting no's to invites. That's a win because it means I invited. Absolutely. Yes. Michelle got 2 new customers this week. Michelle, you want to unmute and tell us what you've been doing, girl?
Sure. Everything. So Rachel knows, but I'm like I got my systems and like, that's what I do. And like my days are very structured, but this month I just kind of let it go. And every day I just do whatever I feel like I want to do, talk to whoever I feel like I want to talk to. And by kind of letting go of that, my DMs are just full all the time. Like every day I'm like, what can I post in my stories that's going to get people in my DMs? And then I'm just having conversations with people. And now I have this whole list of people who are asking me for information. So it's perfect to invite them to these classes. So yeah, just trying to have as many conversations with as many people as I can. And it's working for now.
How are you having those conversations? So what is drawing people to ask you those questions? Is it your consistency on social media? Are you reaching out to people? Like, what does that look like?
Just sharing testimonies. So I've been talking a lot about my kids' sleep. So I've got 2 toddlers that sleep like champs. And so other people who have toddlers that don't sleep that great, they're reaching out to me. So I'm sending them samples. I've had some people ask me about Ningxia because I'm posting about Ningxia in my stories. So I'm just trying to be more open about how certain things are helping me, and people that are struggling in those areas want to know more.
That's so good. That's good. Michelle, can I ask you, the 2 new customers you got? Sorry, I'm like, because see, these are things I want to know. How many of you guys like to see the process? I'm a process person. I think it's great you got 2 new customers. Tell me about that. So were these people you've been talking to, or these people that you've noticed were viewing your stories, or like they're in your life and they've just been watching you? Or
both girls I went to high school with, and they were both watching my stories and I didn't know about it. So one of them, she just randomly messaged me one day and she was like, hey, my daughter's waking up at 2:00 every morning. I know your daughter had night terrors. Like, can you tell me how you knew it was night terrors? And that just started a whole conversation. I sent her some oils to try. She, of course, used them and they worked beautifully. So she was like, I need all of these things. And then the other girl actually is really good friends with one of my really good friends who signed up with somebody else before I got started with Young Living. And that girl, instead of sending her to her enroller, sent her to me instead, because she knew that we had a great team with great resources.
That's all. How many of you guys have had referrals because people look at you as the oil girl? Or the person, because you're consistent with what you're doing. All right, Wendy said, I invited a ton of people to my house for the holiday reveal. How many of you guys are doing something this weekend for the holiday? I would love to hear more about that. 7 responded. She also invited people to this call. She had a new person on the 101 tonight. She's been inviting to a class on the 20th and has had 3 to 4 responses so far. That's awesome. Shelly says, I got a big win in a side project, which reinvigorated me to keep pushing and building my why all this. I think we talked about this last week, but how many of you guys have focused on an area in your life that may not be business, but you felt re-energized creatively, or you felt like you've grown some in yourself, or you've learned something else about yourself, and it's in turn helped you in your business? I think that's awesome.
Just chiming into that, Rachel, I want to encourage you guys about new people, like about the chime, because
Yeah, that's good.
the past 2 years at this point, I'm going to call it 2 years because it's beyond 18 months. I'm rounding up because I did learn that in second grade, when you're a 5 or above, you round to the next tens place in the place value house. Anybody else with me? I learned that. Yeah, I learned that. Anybody? No. Okay. So what that means is for almost 2 years, we've redeveloped what we've done. So if you're brand new, as in the past 6 months, awesome. If you've joined in the past 2 years, you have a totally different experience. If you've been in this business for 2 years or longer, like what we're doing is different. And I want to encourage you with something. People need connection more than ever before. They need you to show up at the coffee shop, at the yoga class, at the church group, at the play group, as the room mom, even if it's virtually. And I have been most reignited when it's around people who have never heard of our oils. So I, during our swim practice this week, met with a grandma of a kid on the swim team about the oils. My friend hosted a yoga class yesterday. 3 of the people had never heard of the oils. Today, I got a message from a mom that goes to school with one of my kids about the oils. And here's the thing. That doesn't happen because it's random. It happens because they see that I'm doing stuff on social media. They see I'm doing stuff in person. I've mentioned it in conversation with other people, like around them. But guys, I have to have these new circles of influence. And it just isn't as easy as it was before. I don't happen to be in groups of people as often as I was before. It's very intentional and it's really freaking hard. And I want to say that to acknowledge it to you, that as a mom with my kids in activities and in school, like I still don't always meet the parents. So I have to be really intentional about talking to them and really intentional about them knowing what I do and them knowing like this is available for you too. So I want to be encouraging with that. If you're not out there in the world right now, you need to be. You need to be, and it's even harder than it was before because people are scared of each other. Even if you're not scared of people, there is a spirit, right, of just a little bit being scared of other people as a threat. And we get to push past that and break that barrier down and show them that we have something that's for everyone. It's for men, women, children, elderly people. Like our products are for everyone. Our job serves everyone. So you are a light in this world just by the fact that you live and breathe and health. Like you have a mission. We run on mission in this business as brand partners to share with other people. So please don't hold yourself back. Like don't make excuses. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. You are the answer to someone's problem. The biggest issue is exposing yourself to their problems. It means you have to get with people, messy, in the trenches. And for the most part, I don't want to be argumentative if you don't believe this, but it's in person for a lot of us right now. Like if someone's not afraid to be face to face with you, they're probably not afraid to hear about what you do. So even if they message you later or they follow you on Instagram, because that's me, I will say my business model, and I've unfortunately made it this way where it's hard to track. I meet people in person and they follow me on social media and we connect. We connect. And if you do it on social media where they find you and then you connect, that's great. But I want to encourage a lot of you guys that are like, I don't have a big sphere of influence. Right now, find ways to connect. If your kids are in virtual school, or if you're not allowed in their buildings, or if maybe you're allowed in their buildings that parents aren't showing up, like find a way to connect to the parents. Maybe make a video, send it, make an introduction, start an email list. You can do this. I am so excited about the comments. I want people to unmute themselves. Rachel was reading your comments and I love that. But like, we want to hang out and share together. And so I took a lot of time purposely because I want you to think about how you have a voice and you matter. And this abundance challenge is about you. Like, it's about you sharing, building relationships, encouraging each other. These inactive lists and contacting them. I'm not going to call out names, but there's several comments. Would love to hear from you next. What are you doing? How are you doing it? How can you learn from it? How can you share with us?
Call on people. Da, da, da.
So hard. About the launch, I will say this, maybe someone will chime in. I will tell you, we, until the past 18 months, we were very much in our language. Like, I know I was like, I'm having this in-person rally. That's where the products are revealed. So the in-person event was the catch. The reveal online was like, oh, you're not going to have bread or peanut butter, but you'll have the jelly. I know it sounds weird. I want you to think about it. Like, you don't get the cool, like, this is amazing. We have this. We have corporate in person. We have products on hand. We have a Super Bowl event, but you do get access to the products. So since we flipped that model, I want to encourage you that people are less drawn to come in person when the bread and peanut butter are for everyone online, and the jelly or the hook is when you're trying to build on top of it. So for us, Rachel and I are hosting an event in person. So our jelly is definitely like way more flimsy and thin, right? And like bread and peanut butter alone or a sandwich. They can log on online and they be getting all the bread and peanut butter substance. The jelly is like, you get some diffuser earrings and you get some ninja and like you get me doing a cartwheel. I'm kidding, but like you get these different things, but they're like not essential. The essential for us with this holiday launch is online. Like, it is the sustenance of what's happening for the holiday launch. So if you're getting a low response for in person, I read 3 comments like that, and I heard 2 people say it. Remember, what they want is being handed to them electronically, and they can click and shop electronically. What you're providing is literally the community and the fun, which motivates a lot of people if they are willing to look at the opportunity. But people can't be motivated by fun and in-person things if they're not even willing to explore the opportunity. So please remember, you're still going to reach people this weekend. Like, you are going to do Instagram lives, you're going to do Facebook lives, you're going to do posts. Like, you're going to show up, you're going to email, you're going to text, whatever you like to do to communicate. You can do it, not always catering to what a specific view knows to an event said, but those people are wanting, but to what you know serves your people best. Kind of want to acknowledge. I mean, Rachel, just each time, like, it's different. Like, it just is different than it was before the time that we're living in now, March 2020.
Yeah. But Ashley and I were talking about it today, how things are different. Guys, we know things are different. Like, if you're like, everything's, yep, it's different. Like, and at what point do we, you pivot and you just keep it moving. And that's one of the reasons why we have these calls, is to see, okay, what's working. So Wendy, I'm going to call on you because you've commented quite a bit. Please
okay.
Tell us all the things, please. Thank you.
I have just been, you guys, I love the abundance challenge because we know what to do. It's just, we get lost in everything else. And I don't know, I forgot to do a lot of that. So I've just been, offering swag bags for my, event this Saturday. And you guys, I'm serious. Like, in my town, I, sent out 125 texts. I have 7 people coming. Okay. So there's, people have plans, people don't want to gather yet. I live in a very lefty area, let's just say that. Okay. I live in Long Beach, and so a lot of people are still kind of freaky. Even though Orange County is just like a throw away from here. If I lived there, I probably would have a ton of people. So anyhow, I'm offering swag bags, and then Tracy's coming, and Tracy's going to have all the new product. And I also am doing a make and take while everyone's here. We're doing a wellness. We're doing like an ear like an ear drainage kind of roller. We're making wellness balm like capsules. I'm going to show them how to make a balm, and then they can put it in capsules. I'm sending them home with capsules to make. And then we're also doing a throat spray. So I'm doing a make and take as well. And then I'm offering Ninja. I'm going to mix a big like batch of red drink, so everyone can have that. Yeah, I'm just offering, I'm pulling them out. You know, people want to see the new stuff. They definitely do. And I have a few people on my team that just love the free stuff. You know what I mean? So they're coming out for the swag bag. What else? And the classes. You know, I think if we have enough time to offer to invite for classes, I feel like I get a better response. And I just keep track of, like, I have a little list, and I have a write down like a paper calendar, and I just keep notes about who I've talked to and who's interested. And, you know, I have a lot of people, I'm sure as you all do, it's like, they'll be like, oh, I can't, I'm busy this time, but please keep me in the loop. You know, and you've heard of 1,000 people who are in business who say that you have a normal person needs the exposure of, like, you know, 8 to 10 times before they say yes, or say, you know, agree to something. So just keep exposing them. I don't know. I just keep bugging people and saying hi. Oh, and I have to say something really fast. We started a group, you know, for the Abundance Challenge to have the, people to keep accountability and everything. And you guys, we had the best meeting last Sunday. So Kathy Hendricks, she's in here, I believe, has a great way to follow up with people. And she like threatens to call them. And so when I invited everybody to the holiday reveal, I actually sent another text out saying, hey, don't forget to let me know if you can make it or not, because I'm ordering goodies and I want to make sure I have enough. And I can also call you to follow up. It scares people. Okay. They totally respond to you because nobody likes to get phone calls anymore. It's like you get in trouble. So I love it. And Kathy gave me that hint to do that. And I'm telling you, I got more responses back, and many of them were saying no, but they, you know, it opened a dialogue. They're like, oh, I have a wedding to go to. I have this to go to. I have that to go, which gives me more opportunity to walk in and say, oh, hey, what did you get for the wedding gift? You know, you get them this, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? So bug them.
I love that so much. And I just want to just pop in real quick and tell you guys how amazing the 36 of you are that are on this Zoom call, and piggyback a lot on what Tracy and Rachel are both saying. Ashley, sorry. And Ashley's on Tracy's thing, and that threw me off with your name that popped up. The world is different. Yes, the world is different than it was 2 years ago. But you know what, you guys? People are the same. Like, what humans need is connection. Humans need connection. And whether they're afraid to do that in person right now or not is irrelevant. Humans need connection. We need relationships to other humans. We need to be seen. We need to be heard. We need community. Like, if there's anything that this 2 years has taught us, it's that you cannot live on an island by yourself. You cannot. You can't emotionally sustain life without connection to other humans. And so I think, like, what a great time to capitalize on the relevancy of that need, right? And maybe, you know, maybe you're not in a place where you can gather in big groups, like gather one-on-one. And I don't know how many of you guys are introverts. Like, are you introverts? And like, raise your hand if you're an introvert, because part of, you know, I'm a big introvert, and I reached the top of this company meeting with people for coffee. And like what Ashley said is 1,000% right. It's 1,000% right. You go into situations, you go into, you know, new classrooms or new sports teams or whatever, and you connect with people. And as an introvert, like if that made you cringe, like as Ashley was saying that, you're like, oh, I don't really want to do that. Like, I am right here with you. But you guys, putting yourself out there, walking yourself up to someone, sticking your hand out and saying, hey, I'm Jen. Where are you from? How long, which kid here is yours? How long have you been doing the swim team? Like, I'm telling you that your life will be so enriched by the relationships and the people that you meet. And as an introvert, take a deep breath, walk across the room, stick your hand out and introduce yourself to someone. And for me, when I started doing this 8 years ago, that was the most uncomfortable thing for me to do. And it's still uncomfortable. It's still not in my nature. Like, I want to hide in the corner with the one person that I know at swim team, and I want to spend the whole night catching up with them and hearing about their family. But that won't build your business. That won't get you prospects. And so walk around the room, stick your hand out, introduce yourself to people. And if you're an introvert like me and you're like, I don't even really know how to do that, I'm just going to tell you how to do it. Okay. Social media is awesome for exposure. It's awesome for people to like know who you are, what you do, what you're about, you know, your main things that you post about. Like, people will have an idea of what you're about. But when you're live in person with someone, if you're like me and that's uncomfortable, if you've ever heard of FORM, FORM, start asking them questions. Okay. Like, my goal when I meet someone like that is to get them to talk for at least 10 minutes and me just shut up and listen, because that's what people want, you guys. People want to be seen and heard. They want you to shut up and listen to them. And the more you do that, and the more you let them talk, and the more you say, oh my gosh, me too, the more connected they feel, the more they trust you, the more they like you. And so family, occupation, recreation, message. You're going to know all there is to know about their family, their occupation, what they do, their recreation, what they do for fun, before you deliver your message. And the whole time they're talking, you're going to be listening for needs, and you're going to be listening for an opportunity to solve a problem. And then you can just say, you know what, this might sound crazy, but I've been doing essential oils for a few years or a few days. I don't care. For 5 minutes, I got introduced to Essential Oils by Ashley over there in the corner, and she showed me this bottle of Thieves, and I bet it would help you. Here's how you get it. Right then, you pull out their phone, you set them up an account, you order a bottle of Thieves. Like, how easy is that, you guys? And as an introvert, it's so like, I just want to empower you. I just want to empower you, because someone like Ashley, who's so bubbly and so fun and so just amazing and freaking running marathons, she's like, what do you like to do for fun? And I'm like, not running. That was my comment on her post, not running. Someone like that can be, you can look at someone like that and you can think like, I can't do that, because she's just phenomenal. She's amazing. And Rachel is as well. Like, you can look at them and think, I can't do that. You can do it, you guys. There is nothing special about me, nothing special about me. And I did it one person at a time, listening for needs, solving problems, offering value to them, bringing something to the table that they didn't know about that could change their lives. And you guys, the lives that you'll see changed are freaking, like, it's better than the paycheck. It's better than anything that Young Living could do for me as a person that they pay to market their, the best reward is the relationships that you build and the people who you're going to see their lives change. They're going to come back to you 6 weeks later and say, you're not going to believe what that bottle of Thieves did for me. You're not going to believe what that bottle of Breathe Again did for my daughter. You're not going to believe what that bottle of lemongrass did for my ankle. Like, there's nothing on the planet that I could think of that I could do that could possibly be more rewarding. And so I want to challenge you guys to, like, just put yourself out there. Like, the next time you're at that baseball game or that swim meet or that, you know, parent teacher meeting, whatever, go meet someone new, introduce yourself, inform them, and just shut your mouth and listen and offer solutions to their problems.
Can I just piggyback? That was really good. That was really good. I'm just going to piggyback off of that, guys, because I go to my kids' soccer practice and literally it's nothing but chairs lined up and everyone on their phone. And even as I'm an extrovert, but I also have introvert tendencies. And sometimes I just want to sit there on my phone too, because I'm really tired and it's been a long day and everyone else is on their phone. And that's the thing too, that I've kind of come across. If I do feel like I'm in a room with people, a lot of people will naturally, this is so much more comfortable than this. It just is. So for some, that's like, for me, the first step for me at my kids' practice is to not be on the phone. Like, that's like, I was like, okay, I can do that. And then just looking for that opportunity to look to the left or look to the right and just open my mouth. But sometimes we have to, like Jen said, stick your hand out. Hi, because I don't even want to say it's uncommon. It's almost like, oh my gosh, like how many people are really doing that versus this today? It stands out. It stands out when you genuinely want to introduce yourself to someone. Like, I feel like now at a soccer practice, if a parent looked at me and was like, hi, I'm such and such, which they're amazing people. We're just all tired at the end of the day and we just want to like chill and have a mental break. Maybe we're looking at, I don't know, flower arranging on Pinterest, and that's like a great pastime for us. But I just think that in itself, putting your phone down, because I want to meet people too, but I do find myself a lot of times, like if I'm not around my kids, like reaching for my phone, even to catch up on like a post or posting in a Facebook group. Sometimes it's just, I'm going to put my phone down and look for the opportunity or look for the person that just needs a connection today. So yes, I'm an extrovert, but that's still very uncomfortable for me because sometimes I'm just tired and I don't want to. But like Jen said, your life will become it's so enriching. It just is. Okay, that was really good. Anybody else want to share? Unmute and share.
Can I say one more thing, you guys? So this week I went to a protest and because we're showing up at our school board meetings and there's so many parents there, you guys. I totally went and I'm not comfortable doing that. And I went yesterday and I just walked up to everybody and I was like, so are you a teacher? Are you a parent? Why are you here? And I got to meet so many people, and there's so many people who are ready to walk out of their jobs and they are looking for backup income. So I'm telling you guys, if you get out there, there's people that need to hear about Young Living in more ways than one. All right. They are totally searching and they want to jump from that lily pad, but they're scared. So, get out there and be that hand. It might be your next builder too. You never know. Okay, I'm done.
I think that for all of us listening to Jen and listening to Wendy, hopefully glean some wisdom, maybe from something I've said, definitely from Rachel. But I think the biggest thing is I don't want us to spend 18 years just like talking about what you should do this week. I want you to do it. Like, I want you to do it. And I want you to feel confident in the doing it. I've done this so often on Facebook classes or on Zooms, but like voice memos are clutch. If you can individually text, awesome. If you can send someone a voice memo on Facebook or Instagram or text, hey, Rachel, the class Tuesday night, I think will speak to your heart so much. It's going to be great as a leader and as a friend, and we're going to make a roller. Eric will be there to sign your book, or you can buy one. It'll be at the Wine Bar Branches. I don't know if you've been there before, but I think you'll love it. Would it be okay if I sent you the link? I do this, like, maybe y'all are not as casual as me, but all that is like my all day life because I want people to feel special. Like, I don't want them tonight, this class that we did before this, the healthy home one, I tried to do a reel about it and I did lots of Insta stories about it and I posted in my group and like, no one cared. I'm being like, no one cared. The 3 people I messaged and asked them to come, they didn't come, but guess what? That's who I was looking for. The 3 prospects that I Facebook messaged with voice memos, sent them the graphic, sent a reminder today. I just want to encourage you. It's like, It's not easy. It's just worth it. And you want people to feel seen and known because that's how all of us as humans interact. Like we want to feel seen and known, introvert or extrovert, right? Like I walk in a space. Sorry, what Rachel said was so funny to me about like when people are individually focused on their own thing. I literally walk in and I'm like, hey guys, and I want to, my goal is to attract attention to myself for a hot second, but then I never talk. Like I want to not talk about me. Like I want people to like look at me and like, hey, and I'm like, what you reading? What you working on? Hey, Linda, how's your job? Like, hey, Stacy, you're in the quarter today. Like, was the shipyard rough? And I want to be like high fives, talk to people, take your freaking earbuds out, you crazy people, like be a human. So I don't know. That is a total extrovert statement. Like when I say that, I realize that I'm like, oh my gosh. I literally walk in spaces and I'm like I'm like touching people, interrupting them. But my goal is to not like my goal is for them to look at me and maybe think I'm awesome for a hot second because I disrupted their like monotonous, boring crap. But then I literally am like, hey, Jen, oh my goodness, how was your day? Like, how are your last few years of elementary school with your kiddo? Like, what's going on? You the freaking room mom? Are you contagion because you can't go to school? Like, what's happening? Like, I want to be the person that asks the question that they have to respond to. Like, not, how you doing? Your sweatshirt's really cute. So cute. Because guess what they do? Like, I'm on a, my favorite, right? So like, people are like, I'm on a call over here. This is what we're like as a society anymore. They're like, and then like, right, when you see them outside of the situation, they're like, hey, Linda. They did not want to say, hey, Linda. They wanted to hide from you. So make people feel awesome. You don't have to be crazy like me. That was my whole point of saying the statement. Like, you don't need to be loud and fussy, but really, did anyone ask you how your day was? They probably haven't because we're all so focused on ourselves. So hey, Linda, how was the shipyard today? Linda is like, girl, we are trying to certify a submarine and I'm wearing a mask for 10 hours a day. And Linda is, we're good to go. You know what I mean? She is telling me how her day was. And I'm like, hey, Reagan, I take a walk because the chlorine is too much for me. She's like, well, what do you do to make the chlorine too much? And I'm like, I use my lemon oils and geranium and I rub it on my children's. And she's like, oh, can I try that? I'm like, yeah. So when we're walking, I'm like, tell me about work. Like, what's happening? And she's like, I'm getting a divorce. I live next door to a jerk. Like, Linda and Casey and Jennifer, like, we don't have to be BFFs. And that's what I'm gonna encourage you with. Creating connection does not mean like you're these lifelong, like, I met my friend Mary and we Mary and I are so tight. That's not it. You see people where they are and you're going to ask them questions. The person asking the questions controls the conversation. And Jen, when she was talking about form, I'm like, dude, I want to be the person forming the other person because I want to control the conversation. Like, I prefer that because if someone's like, tell me how you feel about public school, I'm like, well, there's a lot of feelings, right? You know what I mean? Like, do I answer with the like, it's so great, real happy, or do I like tell you feelings, right? That's what that person feels when you ask them a question. I don't like to be asked about my feelings. Raise your hand if you like to be asked about your feelings. One person. But if someone asks you, raise your hand if you respond when someone asks you. That's a better question. Like, I'm okay, just me. Like, if someone asks me, I respond. I'm not a jerk. I'm not like, it's great. Like I respond. So I want to, this is great. These are great comments. I know I'm saying this slowly, and it's because I want you to think about human nature. We are a social selling business, which requires us to talk to people, which requires you to, even if you don't love yourself at this moment, which you need to work on that, you have to realize that you showing up for other people is loving not only them, but it's loving you. Like people want to be seen and heard, and you get to do that. Every single time you see a person, you can choose to hear them. You can choose to hear their crap. And you know what? When they ask you about yours, you choose the level of that relationship. But I want to encourage you, if you don't like lots of interactions and connection, that you don't have to be best friends just because you connect. You can connect and listen, or maybe drop a nugget of wisdom, but also you can connect to be a connector. Like the person says, yeah, I really am having some, back issues and I feel like I need to do something about that. You don't have to be like, pain away, we'll soothe your back. Like, I mean, like lots of us, that's not unnatural. But I am like, I go to a great chiropractor. I'd love to send you the info. Would that be okay? And guess what they say? Yes, please. That would be great. People are like, my kid is 10 and she does not like to read. And I'm like, you know what, girl? I have an 8-year-old. He doesn't like to read, but my 10-year-old loves to. Would it be okay if I sent you some things he's loved? And guess what they say? Here's the thing. Sometimes they say, no, I'm good. And you're like, good, you're good. I'm glad that you're good. You feel that way inside, but they're good. And sometimes you send them the list. Someone says, I can't really breathe right now. It's a weird time of the year. Talk to them, ask them questions. What makes you think you can't breathe? How do you feel? Has this happened before? And then you can say, I don't know about you and what your situation exactly is. All I know is, for me, lemon, lavender, peppermint, copaiba have worked miracles. And I also take this supplement called sulfurzyme. I'm not sure if you're interested in that. That's what's helped me and my family. I don't even, like I say that, and then I pause. I don't even say, would you like to know? Or if you're curious, I sell these things. And if you want to buy them, but you don't have to buy them, or, if you want to, I'll give you for free, I'll actually give you those. Like if I'll give them for free, I'll bring them to your door tomorrow with a note on how to use them. Like that's what you might not think you do that, but I bet if you listen, you do that. Because the pause, when I educate today, I told someone, I didn't have periods for 9 years. We're not really sure why. I used Protestants Plus for 6 weeks. And I did use it 2 times a day, neck and forearms twice a day. I don't know if that would help you. I'm not sure. For me, there was a direct change and I didn't have to go further. Like I didn't have to investigate more. There was a direct change. So I'm not sure again if that's for you, but it helped me. So I said that to Jen. Jen can now decide if she wants to buy it. She obviously knows, like, if we're friends or if we are in a relationship, I just said that to her. She can say, I'd love to try that. I'm not going to be like, well, maybe I'll give you some to try. Like, I told her it works. She now is like, I want to see if it works for me. I am like, hey, you spend 100 PV, you can get this discount. If not, the bottom Protestants Plus. I don't order on my subscription. I'm not like, let me give you a roll on with it with 85 drops in it, half the bottle. But I try really hard and it's a discipline. And I want to encourage you that to like tell your testimonial, stop. And don't, if you maybe want to try, or maybe we could see, let's look that up for you together. Like I don't do this weird, like guys, sleepy eyes, cedarwood, peace and calming, clutch for sleep for my kids. I know they'd be amazing for your kids, even if it does nothing but calms them down at night. You will love them. Maybe if you want to ever try it, like don't be weird. And I know I'm over exaggerating, but I just want to encourage you guys. I'm filling up a lot of time with these statements, but I found in my head, I have these extreme times of doubt that they're crazy. They're like, it's like I say something and then like what comes out next, like not in my mouth, but in my head is literally crazy sounding. Where it's like, if you want to maybe try, they're really expensive and you could be a brand partner, but you don't have to be. And they've changed your life, but it's really hard. And maybe you don't want your husband to work from home. I don't know how your marriage, like it's like, there's these things that I could say that I do not need to. Yes, silence. Let them ask for it. Share your testimony. I mean, that is really the nailing it. Like the person says their stomach is weird. They're not sure. You could tell them 85 things to use, or you could say, when I first got my oils, I used DiGize several times when I just wasn't sure. There's like a lot going on, man, toilet, me, I wasn't sure. And I put it on my belly, I put some on my tongue. It just really helped me. And they're like, oh, really? Where do you get DiGize? Maybe they say, where do you get DiGize? And you're like, it's one of the oils that's just in the basic starter kit that for me is a basic need. It's 12 oils. I'd love to introduce you to it, or you can get it by itself. It's just really, really helped me and my family. I think it will help you too. And peppermint with that too. Whoo, you can layer that on around your belly button. Peppermint's great. Just helps with healthy breathing. Pause. Because here's the thing. You told them things. And now they need to like process. Like if you bought it, like say, well, do you want to try some like you want to buy or try or you do you want essential zyme and life 9 and sulfur zyme and Ningxia, like there sometimes I need some comfort tone and ICP, and we have this supplement digest and cleanse. It's out of stock now, but it's going to come back because we have seed to seal. And what happens is when we have seed to seal, like things grow, like plants grow in the ground, and it's beyond the organic process. Our soil, we use DiGize on our soil, that thing immediately, and it actually helps the soil get better. So if you use that on the soil, then you can use it in your body and it heals your gut. Like, guys, what just happened? I'm going to mute myself again, but like we do this. I have watched people at classes in person. Like I watch them I watch myself do it. I did it with a lady last week. Where I'm like, I literally just basically told her she could buy all the things and it could be about $1,800, like about that, or she could buy everything she needs for about $80. Like I'm pretty sure I gave her 1,800 or 80, and it was anywhere she wanted. And I'm free for questions when she wants to ask them, right? That's the best. Like I'm like, hey, Rosemary, when you want to ask a question, I'm here for you. Yeah, I'm here. Just ask any question you want. Yeah, from all that. And let me know when you're ready. That's the best too. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll walk you through the process. And they're like, what was the process? And you're like, I don't really know either, but I'll walk you through it. I'm muting myself again. Somebody take over that's smarter than me. Rachel, Jen, get the ship back on course. We're going from, we're trying to go to a different continent at this point. I'll stop.
I want to give a name to what Ashley is describing, because first of all, freaking hilarious. You guys, what Ashley is giving an example of, what she's describing, what she's who she is, right? Like she walks into the room and she's like, okay, let me back up. How many of you guys walk into the room and you're like, I don't really want anyone to notice me. I'm going to pretend like I'm on my phone. Like that's a bunch of us, right? Like we are not the like, hello, I'm here. We're like, okay, who do I know here that I can buddy up with, whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing better or worse, one or the other, but I want to give it a name. I want to name this for you guys and like declare what this is and this attitude and this mindset, because a lot of us walk into a room and we feel sorry to be there. Like, I'm sorry that I'm here. I don't want to be an inconvenience. I hope I'm not in your way. Let me just be over here and not bother anyone and not need anything. And a lot of us, when we're talking about oils, what Ashley just did, that's what we do, right? We're like, oh, this is amazing. Like this completely changed my life. And this is absolutely what you need, but it's kind of expensive and it's a little bit difficult. And you don't have to be a brand partner, but like we like apologize in our presentation, our mindset, our attitude is like, I'm sorry, like you need this is going to change your life. And we believe that, but then we're like, I'm sorry that it's hard to order, or the website doesn't always work, or it's going to be difficult for you to get because it's out of stock and seed to seal. And like we're apologizing. All of that rambling that Ashley just did, that was funny. It was hilarious. it's this apologetic attitude. And you guys, you know what you need to do? Like, you need to walk in the room. You need to tell someone about oils and be like, you're effing welcome. You're welcome. Here I am. You're welcome. Here, I just told you about this oil. You're welcome. I'm about to change your life. You're welcome. And when you can do that, when you like, we believe in these products, like we believe in essential rewards, like we believe that that is the absolute smartest, best way to buy, right? Like we believe that stuff. But then when we start talking to other people about it, we're like a little timid and like, oh, I don't want to bother you. And I don't want to be in your way. No, like you're freaking welcome that I'm telling you about this. You should send me a gift. Like, you know, really, we need to like have that attitude and that mindset of like, we are changing lives. We are helping people. We're not doing this for the pennies on the dollar that people spend. That is not what this is about. This is about changing people's health. Okay. And when you wrap your mind around that and you actually experience that, like there's nothing that's going to stop you from telling people about it. And so change your I'm sorry to you're welcome. Like this week, I want you, when you feel that timidity, you, whatever that word is, like you feel timid, you feel a little bit anxious, you feel a little bit apologetic about what it is that you need to say to someone about the oils and how they're going to feel about it. Like, no, like flip that switch. I want you to hear my voice this week. You're effing welcome that I just told you about that I just walked into this room and blessed you with this information. Because I don't know how you guys feel, but like, I have no resentment for the people that told me about oils. I'm not sorry. I'm not upset with them that they changed my life. I'm not sad that my daughter's not in the hospital 8 times a year with asthma. I'm not sad about that. Like, I'm thankful for the people that told me about oils. I'm thankful for the people that along the way have educated me and taught me things about oils. Nobody's going to resent you for that. So you need to like flip that switch in your mind and get over it.
We're making bumper stickers and t-shirts. Change your I'm sorry to you're welcome. I'm seriously, it's going to be a post this week in the abundance challenge. Okay. That was so good. That literally just flipped the switch in my brain because I'm a recovering people pleaser. And my nickname in college was my last name was Paige. Everyone called me Sorry Paige. I would like walk by people on the street and say, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Sorry. I'm sorry. Like everything was, I'm sorry. And I literally, my husband had to work with me to back up my, like, I was like literally buzz or do an obnoxious sound every time I say, I'm sorry. It's so dumb. And it becomes very subconscious. And then it gets into your speech. It gets into your behavior. It gets into your presentations. It gets into your closing. It gets into like everything. Even if you are passionate about oils. It's crazy. That was so good, Jen. That literally just flipped the switch in my head. I love it. You're welcome. This is good though to think about if you're making a post on social media for the first time or even in an Insta story, like go into it with that mindset of you're welcome. Everyone I'm telling about this digest on my baby, you're welcome. Yeah, that's really good. I wanted to piggyback off of something that Ashley was talking about with connecting with people, a book that really helped me. And I am naturally extroverted and I feel like I can intuitively connect with people, but How to Win Friends and Influence People, y'all, that book is ancient, but it's got very like practical things. Like it talks about the beauty of a name. And it basically says that a person's name, like hearing someone say your name out of their mouth, it's like, they say it's like, this book talks about it as it's the most beautiful music to their ears. Hearing their name come out of your mouth. And so it talks about saying their name. Hi, Jenny. Jenny's so good. Like just little things like that. It gives you tricks on eye contact. It's really things that I've never thought about. It's really helped me take my connection to the next level with people. There was a class at convention, and then we're going to wrap up literally in 1 minute. I forget who it was, where she talked about mirroring the body image. So if someone's facing you at a table across from coffee and they're leaned in like with their cup, you lean in with your cup. But that mirrored body image, their brain looks at you and recognizes they're the same. We're the same right now. And they naturally, subconsciously engage with you. It's the weird, she explained the psychology of it. So I've found by keeping my body open. So guys, when you're none of this, none of this, none of this, leaning in, opening up your body towards people. It sends those unspoken cues. People take in way more of that than they do this. Okay. So like just things like that, when you are in person, people will pick up on that and they'll remember how you made them feel, not just in your words, but the way you opened your body towards them, the way you leaned towards them when they were speaking, and then the way you connected with them with your eye, with eye contact, and the way you said their name over and over. I mean, just little things like that that are going to separate you from the other person sharing oils with them online or in person. Okay, who wants to wrap us up, Jen or Ash? What's the name again? It's How to Win Friends and Influence People. The name of the book. It's a little book. I should know this author because it's such a classic.
Dale Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie, that's right. Thank you. Ashley, you want to close us out?
I just want to challenge everyone this week. So we are in October, which we obviously all know, but this weekend is second to last weekend of October. We end the month next Sunday. Like that is October 31st. So it might have felt like halfway through the month a few days ago, but I want to encourage you to do the work you need to do for October by Monday. Okay? Because then you have 5 days to wrap up, finish up, and get ready for November, because our business does not really run month by month. Like we say, the month end, month beginning, but like we run a continuous business cycle where we have classes, we have education for brand partners, for prospects, for members. We are aware of what people are purchasing. We're looking at cycles. And so please do your best this month to do the hard work, especially with new people, to do it this weekend, like message, follow up, like the holiday catalog. I got my box today. Like I was a little late ordering. So Jen probably like had hers for 5 days, but I like ordered the last day we could. And I was really excited. And I literally today was like, oh my gosh. Like I was like a child because I didn't know if it was my subscription order or my holiday catalog order, because we get a few in our house. And I got so excited because here's the thing. I love to give gifts. Gifts that are going to honor and serve people in their health are even freaking better. And that's what we get to do this year. So that, like never before, is exciting. And I want to encourage you, educate your members, bring your brand partners to a level where, like, let's get every brand partner in your team. Have they enrolled someone this month? That's not what we call it. I'll never I'm so sorry. My language, I can't, like, that is the language I think. Will they bring on a new brand partner from their existing customer base? Is that better? It's so hard for me. And then third, like, are your brand partners prospecting? Like, are they enrolling people? You already measured it here, but like, you need to do it too and help them. So let's get some people in our funnel. Let's make sure we have results with at least one. And then like a new brand partner or two might be nice. And when I say that sarcastically, is what I mean to you guys is a lot of us wait until the last 5 days to measure those things. But where you are right now, like, have you done that? And if you haven't, do it this weekend, like this freaking weekend, not October 30th and 31st. Like October 30th, you need to be making like spice cider with some orange and thieves, hosting people at your house, have fun. It's okay if you don't believe in trick-or-treating, or if you do, you still can do something, harvest, fun, fall. Like next weekend, you should host an event at your house. Or if you trick-or-treat, you should hand out some like trick-or-treat, smell my feet. Oh, don't smell my feet. Here's some purification. Like whatever you do, diffusers. Like you should be on a trajectory where you're not cramming in this last weekend of October because we are abundant. We believe in abundantly blessed paychecks and abundantly blessed teams. And we believe in seeing results because we're putting in the work. We are not scrambling. We're not scrambling. We're working. And we're not waiting till the last weekend. We are pushing it on the freaking 21st of the month. So thanks for showing up tonight. Thank your upline that invited you to this group. I say that every week because it's important because they love you, they want to help you and your family. And thank you so much, Jen, Rachel, Wendy, Hannah, Shelly. So many people were commenting over here. It's been amazing. Luann, thank you so much. To everyone I did not mention, we love you. We cannot wait to see all the success you're going to have. And next month is next week is our October celebration. It's the last Thursday of the month. Again, this weekend, push it. You can do it. Next weekend, follow through, follow up, November planning, have a party, trick or treat, smell some purification on someone's feet. So this weekend, okay. Love you guys. Thanks so much for your time. We'll have the recording up in the next 24 hours.